Hello, today we're gonna play the Stanley Parable. I just thought this is the first time I play this game. I have no idea what happened, and just thought just take it for the video. Have fun. Just have to check something. Yeah, okay.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on the keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy.
Okay.
And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Okay. Duck. Can jump. Can I pick stuff?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Meeting room. Just have this. Door. I can. Hey, okay. Okay.
Stanley went around touching every little thing in the office, but it didn't make a single difference, nor did it advance the story in any way.
Okay. Interesting.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
This is interesting. I don't know if I should listen to that guy, but I guess I'll go right. Or not.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well.
Yeah,
Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
yeah, that's what I was planning to do.
Ah, yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in.
This guy is so passive-aggressive. Fuck him.
But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Fuck you, no? Or... I don't know what to do. Just go straight forward, I guess.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
I don't like people saying me what to do. So I'll just do the opposite of what he's telling me to do.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, Stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her.
For her? Okay.
This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself, to put your work aside, to let her back into your life. She's been waiting.
Who is it? Oh my god. I hope it's not a jump scare. I hate jump scares.
That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to do this, to reach out to her. If you can truly place your faith in another, then pick up the phone.
Problem is he told me now what to do. But I don't have any other option, I guess.
Oh, Stanley, is that you? Hold on, sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm just pulling the bread out of the oven. All right. Okay, there we go. All right, now, I want you to come in and tell me all about your day.
Gotcha. Oh, come on. Did you actually think you had a loving wife who'd want to commit their life to you? I'm trying to make a point here, Stanley. I'm trying to get you to see something. Come inside. Let me show you what's really going on here. Sorry, but you're in my story now.
Okay, this guy, like... it was already strange. I had a strange feeling about the narrator, but... Okay. Okay, this is creeping me out.
This is a very sad story about the death of a man named Stanley.
Guten Morgen, Angestellte. Drücke Y auf deinem Controller.
Stanley is quite a boring fellow. He has a job that demands nothing of him, and every button that he pushes is a reminder of the inconsequential nature of his existence. Look at him there, pushing buttons, doing exactly what he's told to do.
Wait, I'm
now
Stanley
he's
now.
pushing a button. Now he's eating lunch. Now
I'm not.
he's going home. Now he's coming back to work. One might even feel sorry for him, except that he's chosen this life.
Okay.
But in his mind, in his mind he can go on fantastic adventures. From behind his desk, Stanley dreamed of wild expeditions into the unknown, fantastic discoveries of new lands. It was wonderful. And each day that he returned to work was a reminder that none of it would ever happen to him. And so he began to fantasize about his own job. First, he imagined that one day while at work, he stepped up from his desk to realize that all of his co-workers, his boss, everyone in the building had suddenly vanished off the face of the earth. The thought excited him terribly.
Okay, I don't have any child.
So he went further. He imagined that he came to 2 open doors and that he could go through either. At last, choice. It barely even mattered what lay behind each door. The mere thought that his decisions would mean something was almost too wonderful to behold.
I can't press any other buttons other than A. So, okay.
As he wandered through this fantasy world, he began to fill it with many possible paths and destinations. Down one path lay an enormous round room with monitors and mind controls. And down another was a yellow line that weaved in many directions. And down another was a game with a baby. And he called it the Stanley Parable. It was such a wonderful fantasy, and so in his head he relived it again, and then again, and again, over and over, wishing beyond hope that it would never end, that he might always feel this free. Surely there's an answer down some new path, mustn't there be? Perhaps if he played just one more time.
Bitte drücke X, dass du sie liebst. Okay.
'It was such a wonderful fantasy, and so in his head he relived it again, and then again, over and over, wishing beyond hope that it would never end, that he might always feel this free. Surely there's an answer down some new path, mustn't there be? Perhaps if he played just one more time. But there is no answer. How could there possibly be? In reality, all he's doing is pushing the same buttons he always has. Nothing has changed. The longer he spends here, the more invested he gets, the more he forgets which life is the real one. And I'm trying to tell him this, that in this world he can never be anything but an observer, that as long as he remains here, he's slowly killing himself. But he won't listen to me. He won't stop. Here, watch this. Stanley, the next time the screen asks you to push a button, do not do it.
Okay, but I'll do it.
You see? Can he just not hear me? How can I tell him in a way that he'll understand that every second he remains here, he's electing to kill himself? How can I get him to see what I see? How can I make him look at himself? I suppose I can't, not in the way I want him to. But I don't make the rules. I simply play to my intended purpose, the same as Stanley. We're not so different, I suppose. I'll try once more to convey all this to him. I'm compelled to. I must. Perhaps, well, maybe this time he'll see. Maybe this time. And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button. And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button. And I tried.
Did I beat the game? Oh my god. Like, seriously? Like, this narrative.
All of his co-workers were gone.
This guy
What
is
could it
evil,
mean?
like, really
Stanley
evil.
decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
So I guess I'll have to follow his instructions. Weird. Okay, so
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
okay, I guess I'll have. Okay, just go. I have a feeling that you can't beat the game if you don't follow his instructions. I'm not sure like how to play the game now.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Hey, using class to issue and place that everything is okay. Make sure your slide has a slick blue graphic in the header and throw some pebble on all text. Productive work environment. Everyone is unique. You most of all. Ah, thanks. To do signatures, how will you explain it? Shift problem. Number of slides on this slide. Charts, slides. Money. Which charts? Let me see. Okay, just go.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Okay, I guess I'll go up. But if he tells me to do something like, I don't know, creepy or something that's suspicious, I'm not gonna do it. Executive method.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this, what dark secret was being held from him. What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
2845. 2845.
Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
I don't have any option anyway, but maybe, like, okay. Okay, this is getting creepy. Again. Oh god, it's happening. Did I have light? Oh shit. I can go through here. Okay. So press the button.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long. Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Okay, obviously, okay, I can see an escape, so I'll just escape.
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
Oh, okay. Let's see.
The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track.
Escape.
At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
No, I'm not. Probably. I hope so. Wait, did I just die? No, okay. Okay, like this game is like creeping me the fuck out like right now. It's I don't like horror games at all. This is creeping me out.
Into motion, and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise. He reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. So he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
No, please. Oh, okay, nothing happened.
"Farewell, Stanley," cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
Oh, fuck. Oh, shit. What kind of game is this?
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish?
Oh my god. No, I'm not gonna restart it now. Why should I? Okay, so I'm not gonna restart it now. I'll just quickly. Oh yeah, there's a door. There's a door. Looks like I fucked up time, I guess. Okay. And the narrative changed or something? Oh, wow.
When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
Stanley's computer. I guess I can't open the doors at all. What's this? Okay, this is my office. What's that? Button sounds. A selection of the sounds used throughout the game when buttons are pressed. Each sound is a mix of keyboard stroke and this one. Ah, interesting. What's that? Office computers. Oh, can restart them. Nice. So what else? Ah, okay. Ah, we are at the credits. I don't think the game is over. I had the other option. Just go left, I guess. It's that maintenance room. I wish I had the maintenance room. Oh, wait. Those are the credits. It seems like. But they want me to restart the game. Freak me out. But really, do they want me to restart it? I don't get it. The game is not paused. Begin the game. Okay, the game is not finished with exit.
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free.
Okay.
Can you see? Can you see how much they need one another? No, perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen. But listen to me. You can still save these two. You can stop the program before they both fail. Push escape and press quit. There's no other way to beat this game. As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's path. Stop now and it'll be your only true choice. Whatever you do, choose it. Don't let time choose for you. Don't let time...
Oh, fuck, I actually died now. Wait, the game crashed? Okay, it seems like I have to restart the game now. Okay, I have to restart it, it seems like. Okay, I guess that's it for part 1. I hope you had as much fun as I did. Oh, strange game. I'll upload part 2 shortly.